Okay, another one.
I call the meeting to order. Was the meeting duly noticed?
Yes, it was.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I call the roll?
Jan Frank?
Beth Twig.
Bill Crouch.
Mary Langdon.
Alex Crawford. We confirm the notice. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve. Second.
Will those in favor say aye?
Aye.
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 Aye. The agenda is approved 5-0. We come to new business, discussion, decisions regarding the nominating committee.
Before we start addressing that, I'd like to make a motion to dissolve the current nominating committee.
I second that. Motioned and seconded to dissolve the current nominating committee. So discussion.
Well, why are we dissolving it? I thought they were pretty good.
So we can start again. We have, I spoke with Skip Hardenberg, the chair, and he felt because of his involvement with the recall, it would be inappropriate. So I thought it would be better we just started all over again.
Well, Billy Neal wants to, he was on it, and also I believe Dan Ramsey wants to, he was on it.
Well,
So why don't we just leave them on it and just eliminate Skip?
because we're gonna vote for a new nominating committee.
Well, I know that's what you want to do, I'm discussing it with you, I don't see why we should do that.
We have a motion on the table.
Yes.
Okay.
Wasn't on the agenda, it's discussion.
It says discussion and decisions regarding the nominating.
I know what it says, Alex.
Okay.
My discussion is, I don't see a reason to dissolve it. Skip doesn't want to stay on it, fine, we can replace Skip. We got Billy as far as I know, you said you wanted to, I thought.
That's correct.
Okay.
Skip Hardenberg called me and asked, because it was my understanding that the chairperson called and asked him if he would continue to chair the committee. And he said initially that he would. He asked if I would. I said yes. He asked me about Dan Ramsey, and I said, I don't know. I suspect it depends on his health status at the time. But if he's healthy, he would probably continue to serve. I was not contacted by any board member, and at no time since my appointment to that committee has anybody called me, sent me anything in writing to ask whether or not I wanted to continue to serve. And if in fact somebody doesn't want me on the committee, then it's only appropriate and decent thing to call the person before you announce that you're going to kick them off the committee. Now, if I did a poor job or something, fine, fire me. But I would address Mr. Crouch and ask him, has the issue been discussed previously? And he knows probably better than anybody else, he would not be sitting in that chair if it was not for my assistance to get it issue discussed by the board at an open meeting, because the current president did not want him because she had not interviewed him on her own, although she sat in on every interview session that we had.
If I may address Mr. Neal's comments, I can remember not too long ago you stating verbally in front of the assembly that you had made a mistake in appointing me to the board of directors. I think that would be reason enough to think that maybe you shouldn't be on the nominating committee. You said to me you made a mistake putting me on the board.
Yeah, I
That's
probably.
exactly what you said.
Okay, that's probably correct. That's probably correct. Based on your actions,
Will the meeting come to order, please?
No!
you're trying to rig.
Will the meeting come to order?
I'm discussing.
We have somebody at the podium. And Mr. Crouch was speaking. Anyone who wants to speak can come to the podium.
Billy should.
I'm not coming to the podium, ma'am. If you can see, I have a problem. I've got a cane here to hit people if I get attacked.
Is that a threat?
Sound like a threat to me.
Okay, Earl, would you like to go?
Be out.
I would like to, Earl Dean, 7456 Wood Pond. Can we follow the covenants and do what the covenant says? And I think the covenant says that the president appoints the chairman of committee.
In July.
In July.
July at the annual
Okay.
meeting.
But if that's not the case, then I still say the president and the board of directors should have a say into who's being on any committee for the nominating committee. And based upon the people that were put on the nominating committee by hand selected, 3 of them, due to the fact that you were fired, you're going to be fired, Mrs. Crawford, and they'd already picked somebody. Those people should have been picked based upon the membership and not just a handful of people to be on the nominating committee, as far as to be on the board for their personal pick out of the committee.
Thank you.
I'd like to correct the record. He did not appoint you to the board. He recommended, and then the board would have voted for you to sit in that position. He did not appoint you to the board. Second, do you have anybody in mind for the nominating committee? Has this been put out to accept people because there was a list for people who wanted to be on the nominating committee? Or is this one of those items where you already know who it is and you already have that list today to nominate these people?
I'm a little concerned about the list. There were 2 lists. The second list didn't have the same names as the first list. The board has the responsibility to choose the nominating committee. I have a concern for conflict of interest. That's my personal concern.
So if you choose somebody who supports the board, is that a conflict of interest?
No, I think we should choose people who will be neutral.
Okay, do you have people in mind already, because you've made this motion to dissolve the board, so therefore to dissolve the nominating committee, therefore you will probably appoint people. So who are these people? Because I imagine you didn't just come in here with no names.
Well, you wouldn't be on it.
Well, we have a
Well, I'm
motion
not
on,
talking to you.
we
I'm
have a
speaking to
motion
your
on,
president.
excuse me, we have a motion on the table.
Yes, I understand that, but this is the discussion part.
Yes,
You want to dissolve the committee.
we want to dissolve
So
the
who will take
committee.
their place, and was that put out in an open forum to allow everybody who wanted to be on the nominating committee to place their names on the list, as was the case at the last meeting when you said this nominating committee form, if you would like to be on the committee, put your name on the list, people put their names on the list. So now you're discounting that because you state they have a conflict of interest, or dissolving the nominating committee, or that is what your wish is because there's a conflict of interest. So my question to you is, do you have people in mind with no conflict of interest? Since logically, if you want to dissolve the committee, or the nominating committee, then you would have people in mind. So who are these people?
I do personally, we're not up to that point yet.
Okay, so you're going to do that tonight, chances are. So it was not an open process to actually allow the members to put their name on the list, because those who did, you don't like them, so you're gonna select them.
My concern is that we get candidates for the board without skewed special interest. We've already got a
Okay, and how is that going to
parallel-
happen in this environment?
Because-
Because people are either on one side or the other, so please tell me how you're not going to choose somebody who's not skewed, because I imagine that those you will select are skewed in favor of you. And the board, you're right, should be neutral, and it shouldn't be personal, and it should be objective.
I think the people that I would like would be
So you're not putting it out to the public or to the association, you're coming in here
No.
with the list already, that's not neutral.
it is a board decision.
I understand it's a board decision.
Yeah, thank you,
So you're not
Thank you.
acting in the best interest
Thank
though, because you're not being open.
thank you.
And I will talk as long as I want, because I'm an American. Oh, arrest me, please.
I'm just waiting on the end, I didn't have much to say.
Let's go ahead.
So, if you don't want somebody on the committee, or you wanted to dissolve the committee because somebody verbally came out and publicly made a stand with which you disagree, and you want someone neutral, does that mean you will not choose to appoint someone or cause to be appointed someone who has come out and publicly made a stand in favor of your retention? So if there was a public statement against, we got to eliminate that person because they're not unbiased. Would you additionally eliminate someone who had made the opposite statement?
I personally will vote for whoever I think is the best candidate.
Right, I mean, you're right in no way, but my point is, you apply the same rules unbiasedly yourself.
I hope so. Thank you.
So now, first, if you saw a woman with her hands on me, then it's assault. That's number one. Yeah. Number two, as the camera guy to help, well, she'll admit to it.
I touched you.
Here's the second part of it. Okay, the second part of it is, what you all, including the boomers, fail to realize is a couple of things. One is I was appointed to that board, to that committee.
No, you weren't.
Actually, he was the original
That is
one
correct.
that was appointed in the July meeting.
So those are
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Yes,
Yes.
No, he wasn't.
July.
No,